Listen, as a writer, you can always write. And like, Mike and I were talking, I don't know if we were recording at this time, but like when we first got onto the call, we weren't. But like, make sure your scripts are in really, really good shape.
Yeah.
And then start asking people to read them. And when we talk about, this is what I used to do to make sure that my scripts were in good shape. I had the advantage of some of my samples had come from graduate school where I had like professors working with me on them and stuff. But even then, like I wouldn't send them out to professionals yet. Mm-hmm. I would send them out to film festivals. And if I was placing,
smart.
Then I was like, okay, then I think this is ready to go. Smart. So like some of my pieces were like, if they're finalists, semifinalists, quarterfinalists, I'm like, okay, I'm doing something right here. Like you can't, if you make it only past a certain stage, you also don't throw the thing out because the people that are reading these scripts, they're just like you or not even, right? Mm-hmm. These, especially the preliminary readers for a lot of these festivals, that they don't always, some of them are great, some of them are not. So that's why if you want to know if a sample's ready, send it. And I know it costs money. It's not a ton of money, but it does cost money, which can be prohibitive for some. But I was dead broke and I was able to do this. Send it to a handful. And if you place in one of them, then it's a pretty good sign.
Smart.
That you're close to being able to send this thing out. And have your friends read it. If you can, have other, like writers at your level read it, or like, someone with some training if you can, because I find that's really constructive. But make sure it's good, and you can always get people to read your work, even if you have to beg, borrow, and steal. And don't be afraid to annoy people, ever. Mm-hmm. I am so annoying. And I think people find it endearing. That's probably not true, but I tell myself that so I can keep annoying them. But like, really, if you send something, you send a follow up.
Yeah.
If someone says they're going to read something, follow up.
Yes.
Well, you have to give them at least 2 weeks is the cardinal rule. If it's a feature, then give them 4. But follow up and stay on them.
Yep.
Until they read the damn thing. If they agree to read it, that's on them. And then if they have to come back to you and grovel and say, I'm an asshole, I can't do this, then fine, move on. But don't be afraid to knock down those doors, because I'm telling you, and I would have those fears from time to time, but if I didn't push past them, I don't think I would have gotten anywhere. If I wasn't afraid to piss people off, if I wasn't afraid to hear no, I would probably, well, that gym is gone. Now there's like a 24-hour fitness, which is equally terrifying. No, it's a Planet Fitness.
Oh.
It's not even 24 hours.
So it's like a purple hell over there is basically what it is.
Yeah, it's a purple hellhole with people who don't know how to use gym equipment that I swear are doing real damage to themselves and like might do damage to you by proxy. I'm not sure.
100%.
But I don't know that I would have made it here if I wasn't afraid.
I think that's great. That's great advice. And I have a couple friends that have done similar things as far as submitting to film festivals or writing competitions, like all that sort of stuff has been very successful. I know my screenwriter, Will, has won the Blacklist a few times, and he has gone through that process, which has been good for him. But I think what we were talking about offline, and just to sort of catch folks up with, and I think I might have said it on the show before, but I'm not sure. It's just know that if you're going to send something to someone to read, it's a task. And if it's a short piece, it's not as much of a task, but even then it still is. Like if I'm sending someone something to watch, it's a task. But at least they could sit there and mindlessly watch it if they want. But you still got to remind yourself, if I'm going to send them a script or piece or short film, the best scenario for you is that they sit down unaffected by whatever bullshit they're going through that day to read your piece, because whatever they're going through that day is going to filter into what they're fucking reading. And they may skim over your descriptions for things. They may get lost for things. So just try to find those people that are focused early on that can, and honestly, I forget who said it, but like your first fucking page, like if in your first page you're writing something that is captivating and interesting, then you're good to go. Like you just make something that right off the bat, your friends come back to you and go, I love this. Like, I can't put this down. It was a fast fucking read. And maybe they have a bunch of dumb notes because, they don't work in the business about specific things. You could just let those roll off your back, but make sure that your first page is fucking solid, because that's the first thing I do as a director. If I get something from someone and I get it and I go, all right, this person doesn't know how to format things. And this is, all right. Let me try to make my way through this. And okay, by the time you're on like page 5, you're like, I feel terrible, but I'm having trouble getting through this. And the contrast is I'll get a great script from a great screenwriter and I'll go, holy shit, how many pages was that? That was 90 pages. I read that in 15 minutes. Like, how did I get through that so quick? So, just be smart about stuff, I guess. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, and certainly, make sure that you're nailing the basics, because it is kind of a downer when you've agreed to read something for somebody and you open it up and you're like, oh my God, this looks like I can't make any sense out of this.
Yeah.